So I have a burning question actually in relation to masculine and feminine, and this conversation's come up quite a bit with my girlfriends. And it sort of, I guess, revolves around the fact that we live in really modern times, and we're trying to sort of close that divide now between the gender roles. And, you know, women are becoming, you know, a lot more successful and accomplished in traditional male roles. And I know many women don't necessarily want to have that traditional wife takes, you know, stays at home, raises the children, the husband's the breadwinner. So I guess perhaps there's a little bit of a stigma around this masculine, feminine, or male and female roles maybe being a little bit outdated. And I know a lot of my super modern female friends are all like, oh, that's kind of a bit old fashioned. I don't know whether I want to go with anything so traditional. So I really want to talk about why this really is so important, and why it's so important now more than ever as well, even for such, you know, modern women, when we want an equal type relationship, right?
Yeah, I'm so glad you asked that. Yeah, and again, it's not about conforming to like gender roles. Like, it's two separate things. You know, we all have both masculine and feminine energy inside of us, men and women. I personally think it's fantastic if you are an independent woman, if you're making multiple 6 figures, 7 figures. You know, a lot of my clients are that way, and I think that's great. You don't want to like dim your light or like squash that part of yourself down. Like I mentioned at the beginning of this video, it's about ramping up both sides and expanding and becoming more of who you are, not less, right? That being said, yes, we have obviously evolved very much as a society, but when it comes to attraction and these like softer dynamics between men and women, men's brains are hardwired the same way they were since the beginning of time, since like the caveman days, right? Men value what they have to work for in a lot of ways, right? And it's this masculine, feminine. If you want a super masculine guy who's gonna care about your feelings and, you know, make decisions and get things done in the relationship and go after what he wants, most women want a guy like that, right? If you're coming at him with your masculine energy, and he's a, you know, masculine energy guy, it's like a magnet with the two sides, right? It's like the same charge. They just repel each other, push each other apart. So it's almost like turning that magnet around and attracting him towards you. Like I said, you could be the most successful woman in the world and still be feminine and create attraction and connection and real intimacy with your man, because that polarity is needed. And it's not about, you know, staying home and being a typical housewife. I mean, I know a lot of women who make way more money than their men, and there's nothing wrong with that at all, right? But it's about these dynamics of attraction. And like I said, men's brains are hardwired the same way they always have been since the beginning of time, pretty much, when it comes to some of these things. So you want that polarity there. That's what creates sexual tension and intimacy, truly, I believe.
Yeah, so for someone who does have the type of role that requires them to be in their masculine, so to be, you know, powerful decision making, really outcome driven, you know, really well organized, and they're in that energy all day, every day in their working week, how do they manage that, you know, coming home at night, on weekends? How do you like shift in and out of that?
Yeah, that's a great question. You know, everyone kind of says the typical stuff like, oh, come home and take a bubble bath and play soft music. And I mean, that's all great stuff, right? You know, but I kind of like to think about, like, do things in a way that are maybe you've never heard before, right? So it's just about getting out of your head and into your body. If a woman is that way, like you said, super ambitious, driven, successful woman, just the tiniest shift in this direction can get you the biggest, most dramatic results. So if you're having a hard time, best way to get into your feminine energy is just getting in touch with how you're feeling in any given moment. So many of us are walking around just trying to get things done. We're like lunging from one obligation to another that we're cut off from our feelings. A lot of my clients are like, well, I don't even know what I'm feeling most of the time. So I've really found that like body sensations are kind of like a gateway into your deeper feelings. So everyone can do this right now. You know, see if you can come up with some kind of body sensation. See if you can feel some like tension in your shoulders or in your stomach, or even like temperature, like if your hands feel cold or warm or something like that, get into those body sensations and just put your attention there. See if you can kind of breathe into the tension, or just kind of put your awareness there. Not to try to like get rid of the tension or make yourself feel something that you're not, but just notice that. And if you're doing this right now along with me, you can't be up in your head and putting your awareness in your body at the same time, really. So that's one quick tool that you can do just at a moment's notice. That doesn't require you to like, you know, have 2-3 hours to yourself, especially if you have a busy schedule.
Love that. It's like a little micro practice that we can literally do anytime.